Hey guys, so I'm here back with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be making some pepper steak. Alright, so I already cleaned my steak. I already cut it into strips. Well, not perfect strips, but I just cut them into like little pieces. You can cut yours a little bit more fine, a little bit more neat if you want. This works for me. I made sure when I cleaned my steak, I soaked it in vinegar. I also added some baking soda to it and let it soak for about 15 minutes just so it can help with the tenderness of the steak. And then I rinsed it off and cleaned it off. Okay, so what you see already on it is I poured in some olive oil over it, and then I added some of this Lawrys marinade on it. All right, it's with garlic and cracked black pepper. So I already poured that on there. You don't have to use this marinade, but I like it sometimes. I use it sometimes. All right, so I poured that on there. I'm going to add in some freshly chopped garlic. All right, and then I'm also going to add in some other seasonings. Not too much because the marinade already has like salt in it. So I'm going to use in some dark soy sauce. Okay, I'm also going to use some W sauce. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of Lawry's seasoning. Okay, well, I'm not putting too much. Some Favo seasoning. All right, I'm going to use some smoked paprika. I'm also going to use some all-purpose seasoning. Okay, I have some black pepper. Oh, I have some garlic. Now this you could put as much as you want because this doesn't have salt in it. I'm going to use some onion. Okay, I'm also going to add in a little bit of sugar. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm also going to add in some cornstarch. Okay, and that's pretty good. Then we're going to mix this all around. Okay, now I'm going to let this marinate. You can let this marinate for like 15 minutes if you want, but I'm going to let it marinate a little bit longer only because I have things to do. So I'm going to let this marinate for about 2 hours, which I usually do anyway. I feel like the longer it marinates, the better it tastes. Even if you want to do this overnight, it's even better. All right, let this marinate. And then now I'm going to prep some of the onions and the peppers in the meantime while it marinates. So we're going to do that next. All right, guys, so my steak is marinating in the fridge, and I'm going to cut up the onions and the peppers. So I already cleaned and rinsed everything off. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. All right, we don't want it to be small, so we just want like chunks. Now, if you're a person who's not big on like peppers and onions, this recipe is not for you. You can still obviously make the steak, maybe put some onion powder. But this was what makes the recipe is. That's why it's called pepper steak. And you have your peppers and your onions. Alright, so I had 2 small onions, so I'm just doing it this way. That's why I have 2. Now if I had like a nice medium sized one, or say 1 large one, that'd be good. But it also depends on how much steak you have. Okay, so we have the onions cut. Now I am going to cut up this orange pepper. Now usually I wouldn't use an orange pepper. I just, you know, it's getting to the point where it's like kind of soft. If you see it. It's not old, but it's like I didn't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use this, okay? Usually I would just use like green and red pepper. I don't like wasting food, so this will just be added. All right. And you can also cut them the way you want them. You know, I wouldn't recommend too small, because when we cook them, they're not supposed to be like soggy, you know. It's supposed to have like a slight crunch to it. But you know, you do it the way you like to do it. And I'll have the recipe in the description, of course, guys, on YouTube. Alright, and we'll cut up this red pepper. So as you see, when I cut it, I just cut it all around. That way it's just a little bit more easier. So I just wanted to show y'all how y'all should cut it. I'm going to cut up the rest, and then we're going to start making the steak. Okay guys, so now we done cut up the peppers. We're going to make our sauce. Okay, so I'm going to start out with some dark soy sauce. Just give it to, you want to make sure you have some sauce for your steak. Alright. A little bit more. Okay. Then we're going to add in some chicken stock. Alright, you're going to add in some rice vinegar. So what I did was I have to get some, so you can substitute and just put white vinegar, add some sugar, and add a little bit of water to it. And you're good to go. So you can see my sugar. Just stir that up. Alright. And add in some black pepper. Alright. I'm going to add a little bit more sugar to balance out that saltiness. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch. I'm sorry, you guys see? There we go. Alright, and we're going to whisk it up. And then you're also going to taste it just to make sure, you know, it might need a little bit more something. So I can use a little bit more sugar. Okay. Taste it. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna put this to the side, and then we're gonna start making our steak. All right guys, so I have my pan on, I have my oil in my pan, and now we're gonna fry up the steak, but we're gonna do a little bit at a time. Make sure your fire is not too high. All right, as you see, I have my steak here that's been marinating. I'm gonna mix it one more time before then you're gonna just lay them flat just like this. So the reason why you don't want to do it all at once, because you want to make sure each side gets cooked properly and then gets a nice sear. All right. Maybe one more piece, and then that's it. We're gonna let it cook. It doesn't take that long to cook, maybe 3 to 4 minutes on each side. All right, and then I'm gonna show you how it should look. All right guys, so as you see, it's cooking, and we're just gonna flip them over. Okay. So you see some pieces got a little browning on it. You can let it brown a little bit more if you would like. Alright. And let this keep cooking as I flip them over. And I'm going to show you at the ending what it should look like, and we can move on to the next step. Alright guys, so this is how your steak should be looking. Now we're gonna saute the peppers. Alright, we're gonna use the same pan. Add the oil to it. It's still hot. And now we're gonna add in the peppers, okay? And we're gonna just stir it up and get it going. And let this cook for about 5 minutes. Maybe 5 to 6, 7 minutes. Alright, so our peppers has been cooking for a couple of minutes now. Now we're going to add in the sauce that I made earlier. Alright, I'm going to add that in. Let me just stir it up. Alright. We're going to let this cook down for a couple of minutes, and then we'll add in our steak. Alright, so it's gotten a little thicker, as you can see. That's what we want. Now I'm going to add in my steak. We're going to mix this in. Okay. So you lather each piece of steak, get sauce and onions. Alright. And that's it. It's pretty much done. And that looks really, really good, guys. Alright, now we can plate. Alright guys, it is done. I have my rice under there. And that's it. This is some pepper steak with some white rice. Alright, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channels. Follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!